Yo, what is going on, guys? Winner Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new Locals feature match. Here we are in round 2 for the week. We got a bit of a pseudo mirror match. Here we've got pure Tearlaments versus branded Tearlaments. Connor on the right versus Meta Matt on the left. Hopefully you guys are going to enjoy this video. And if you do, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So let's hop right into this one. I believe we are going to see the branded Tearlament deck go second here. We're going to see the pure Tearlament deck lead with a copy of Terraforming. Now, this is also a pretty interesting matchup, too, because, like, I see, at least, like, in my inner, like, testing circle, I guess, a lot of people that I know that are playing Tearlament are currently playing, like, pure Tearlament with, like, the mask change stuff for Dark Law, which I think is very good. The should all stuff for Window, which I don't think is very good. The payoff for, like, the bricks that you have to play, I think it's just much easier to, like, play Caligo with, like, the synergy with King of the Swamp, not really being a brick like Beast or Skomata might be, etc., etc. I think it's just kind of a win more card at the end of the day when Caligo almost kind of accomplishes the same thing, but I digress. But, like, having the branded cards in the deck, I feel like just gives it another layer of plays to be able to make, where you're not always relying on it being a mill deck, because that's one of the biggest flaws of the Tearlament deck is the fact that it is a mill deck, and it is not very consistent. You're not going to... Your combo is always going to be RNG based. Like, you're never going to have a surefire way to end on a board of, like, Dragostapelio, Winda, plus, you know... whatever it may be, like Dark Law, right? Very dependent. So we're going to see Connor go first here, end on 2-set back row, and a Merly, after milling 8 cards there, and we're going to see a Galaxy Cyclone activate, targeting the set, so he's going to change mask, change the second, discarding Polymerization, to go ahead and fuse away with the Merly into a copy of Dark Law, and that will trigger Merly effect since it was sent to the graveyard via card effect, to go ahead and fusion summon, using itself and a copy of the Rhino Heart. We're going to see him bring out a copy of Kit Kalos effect. Go ahead and send a copy of Havness to the grave. And go ahead and fusion now with that Shaddoll Winda. Or Shaddoll Winda. With the Beast into El Shaddoll Winda. So the Super Poly is about to go in like you wouldn't believe. Discarding Branded Fusion like a huge chief. Because I think... I don't know if he has 2 of in hand. And I feel like that's the only reason you're going to go ahead and discard something like Branded Fusion off of Super Polys if you possibly have another copy in hand. We're going to see him go ahead and summon out a copy of Dragostapelia. Yeah, he's got another Branded Fusion hand. Absolutely stacked. Meta Matthew coming in here with the insane going second hand. We'll see if it's going to be enough, though, to take the dub here in game 1. We're going to see him activate Pelorino and then normal summon the Rhino Heart effect to go ahead and send a copy of Havness. He'll attempt to use Havness effect, and there is a Called by the Grave. And this Branded Fusion is about to go in. He does have another Havness in hand, which is pretty strong. I mean, it won't be technically a hand trap next turn, but it can be a bit of follow-up, I guess. If his opponent, like, makes a board next turn, and then on his turn he tries to play again, if he activates a monster effect, he has the Havness to be able to, like, counter to try to play. So Branded Fusion is going to come in clutch here, dumping a copy of Sharon and a copy of Fallen of Albaz, going for the Lubellion. The Lubellion Chainlink 1 and the Sharon Chainlink 2. He does have the Rhino Heart on field to be able to fuse away with. He does have the discard for Lubellion. So we'll see if he remembers the discard here. He does have a card in hand to discard, importantly, so this is a legal activation. And are we going to see a forgotten discard? We might see a forgotten discard here. Or he just might not be using Lubellion. That might be the other thing that I'm missing here. So we're just going to see him go ahead and go for a Kit Kalos to go ahead and search a copy of Sharon. And then it's going to be Kit Kalos effect on itself to bring out Sharon. And then we're going to see him go ahead and mill 5. It's a Merly and a Rhino Heart. And I'm not sure why 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 was milled. I don't know if Sharon gets his effect to mill 3 when it's special summon, period. I know Merly does that. I could just be totally misremembering things. But I'm going to go ahead and say that it does. I just got to check for myself here. Let's see. If this card is... Yeah, no, Sharon has to be by its own effect. So, yeah. A little strange. I think he could have added a Merly and done the same thing. Bit of a misplay. Also, my friend Matt is just starting to play this deck. So cut him some slack. He did not use the Lubellion there, as is evident by the fact that there's no Mirror Jade, but that was a slight misplay there, milling 8, since he did not bring out a Merly, and Sharon only gets its effect to mill 3 when you use her in-hand effect. Unless he did that, but he milled 8 on that whole chain, which should not have happened unless he just did it all at once. But no, that wouldn't have made any sense. Either way, don't think it would have changed the outcome of the game there too much had he just switched what he searched off of the Kit Kalos. He could have gotten a Merly, summoned the Merly, and actually milled 8 and tried to push for game there. But either way, we're into game 2. What's done is done. I don't know what you guys want me to do about it at this point. I can't go back and change the fabric of reality. Wish I could. Be a cool thing to be able to do. So it looks like we're going to see a King of the Swamp activate. It's going to go ahead and get Poly. Then we're going to see him normal summon a Sheeran. And then activate Branded Fusion. A little bit interesting on the sequencing here as to why the Sheeran was normal summoned. But either way, Branded Fusion is going to resolve. And we're going to see him dump Albaz and Sheeran. And we'll see him bring out possibly Lubellion. And then we'll see Lubellion and Sheeran. In fact, we got to imagine we're going to see both Lubellion and Sheeran activate here. Or not using Lubellion. Just going to go for Kit Kalos. No, we are using the Lubellion. Okay, I was going to say, we got to be using the Lubellion here. I was going to be mind blown as to what's going on here. Yeah, so getting to Mirror Jade, and then we're going to see him activate the Kit Kalos effect on a new chain here. It's going to trigger an opponent's Havness, milling 3, and not milling anything noteworthy there except a Salic. And Salic effect will resolve to go ahead and search a Tearlament, so we'll go ahead and add a copy of Rhinoheart. And he'll also search out a copy of Rhinoheart as well. And then we're going to see Kit Kalos effect on itself to bring out a Rhinoheart. Chainlink 1, Kit Kalos Engrave, or possibly the other way around. Yeah, not milling 8 here, Matthew. Not milling 8. We're milling 5 off Kit Kalos, and then we're sending a direct send off the Rhinoheart here. So, Kit Kalos and mill 5. Looks like he milled 2 of the Rhinohearts. Not super good at all, really. But he will get the direct send still off the Rhinoheart. And that will dump Merly. And then Merly effect to go ahead and attempt a fusion summon. And this is probably going to bring out a Dragostapelia, as is, standard. Putting back the Kit Kalos to the extra deck. And using another monster. Setting a card and passing turn. So, Mirror Jade, Dragostapelia. Opponent did Havness, but didn't have any Tearlaments to fusion with. He will have Terraforming again. That's pretty clutch. Terraforming will grab a Pillar Rhino. And then we're going to see him activate Pot of Desire to go ahead and banish 10. To draw 2, it will resolve, drawing into King of the Swamp and something else that I couldn't necessarily tell what it is. Damage report on the banish 10 there. I think that is a Platinum Rare Foolish Burial. Ugly looking card. Terrible looking. Platinum Rare. Easily hands down one of the worst looking rarities ever in Yu-Gi-Oh! History. You cannot change my mind. Absolutely disgusting looking cards. So yeah, Pearl Rhino will resolve. Go ahead and search out a card. And then we're going to see him normal summon the Rhinoheart. And he will chain Dragostapelia to keep him off. Potential way to fusion summon. And then we're going to see him activate Sharon in hand, discarding a Merly, and milling a Rhinoheart and a Squamata. So probably checking the banish pile there again to see if there is a Shaddoll Beast still left into the deck. At this point, I'd be surprised. Like, I feel like if you're going to go second here in game 2, you might not want to have Beast in the deck. It seems like if anything, you're going to like maybe side out Beast and keep the Squamata in. But he still has the Beast in deck. And that's going to come in clutch here to net a draw to help try to go into this board, I guess. And we're going to see him activate the Rhinoheart Engrave, discarding a Merly. and Rhino Heart effect. We'll go ahead and send, but I believe he already used Rhino Heart. It was negated by the Dragostapelia, but we're just using Rhino Heart again. Unless he's fusing with the Merly. Some very suspect things happening here right now. So it looks like we're going to see him go for the Kaleido Heart, which will allow him to shuffle an opponent's card back into the deck, so that can be a good way to deal with the Mirror Jade and also force the Mirror Jade. And he'll get the effect of Perla Rhino as well to pop, since they, Tearlaments were put back to the bottom of the deck, or in quotes, shuffled into the deck. So we get to attempt to remove 2 here, which is pretty strong. The opponent does have a Super Polymerization, which is really, really good, discarding a regular Polymerization. And he's going to fuse away the... Well, he can't fuse with the Kaleido Heart, because that cannot be used as fusion material. Also something to keep in mind. So you can go ahead and get rid of the Kit Kalos and I think it was a Merly or a Sharon on field. He's going to go ahead and banish the Kaleido Heart with the Mirror Jade. He'll put back the Mirror Jade. The Mirror Jade will still dump the Albulenitus. And the field spell, I believe, should still pop something. Unless he didn't end up using it, which could be the case. Albulenitus, though, is going to come in clutch to add a fusion spell in the end phase. Like, very, very clutch thing to grab. Branded Fusion that can grab instant fusion. But the Super Polymerization did send those monsters to the grave via card effect, so that will trigger the Sharon to fusion. He'll go ahead and put back a Kit Kalos and the Sharon itself to go ahead and fusion into a Dragostapelia of his own. I really am not looking forward to the day that all of the Ishizu cards come out that make this deck. It's going to be a nightmare to commentate over. It really is. There's going to be so many effects resolving, so many things happening on a new chain. It's going to be insane. I really am not looking forward to that. I'm just not. But looks like we're going to see a Dragostapelia run over a Dragostapelia. The field spell is boosting up the pure tier players stuff on the right by 500 because he does have Perla Rhino that boosts all fusions and Tearlaments. Only the ones that you control, though. It's not all the ones on the field. So he is able to get over his opponent's Dragostapelia on the left there with his 3300 Dragostapelia. Or 3200, 3300, 32. Dragostapelia is like 27 or 2800 attack. But either we're going to see a Polymerization now. He's going to go for Guardian Chimera, using one from hand. Pop 2 to draw 1 into Triple Tactics Talents to draw 2 more. Setting Mass Change the second. And end phase Albulenitus will trigger to go ahead and grab a copy of Branded Fusion. Not out of the game yet, but I mean, you gotta have something better than just Branded Fusion right here. Because I mean, Branded Fusion definitely gets you something, but is it going to be enough? Really, you gotta have some way to get some Tearlament cards into play, and I think he did draw a Tearlament. I mean, does have a way to get Tearlament cards into play. He has Branded Fusion. Who am I kidding? I mean, you don't even really care if your Lubellion resolves. Like, you just want to get a Tearlament monster to the grave to try and fusion summon that way to get into Kit Kalos to get into something else like a Kaleido Heart to start removing cards. So we're going to see him dump a Merly and a Fallen of Albaz. And we're going to see him summon out a Lubellion. Chainlink 1 Lubellion, Chainlink 2 Merly, discard. I was going to say, please discard. So we're getting the discard here. And this is, Heaviness was discarded for a cost. So it will not get to fusion. But the Merly will still be able to fusion. It looks like he's going to put back Merly, the Rhino Heart, and the Heaviness that he discarded. Go ahead and fusion summon for a Kaleido Heart, and then going to go ahead and fusion summon here for a Mirror Jade, and then Kaleido Heart effect on summon, Kaleido Heart effect on summon to attempt to shuffle back, but he cannot target the Guardian Chimera because there is a Polymerization engrave. So he's going to go ahead and shuffle back the opponent's set card, which is a Mass Change the second, which is unusable right now because he has to have a monster to shuffle back that has a level lower than the monster they're trying to summon, which is Dark Law, which is being a 6, and Guardian Chimera is a level 9, I believe. But Mirror Jade does not target, so he'll be able to just send off another Lubellion to banish it, swing in for a whopping 6k and pass turn. We'll see if Pure Tier has what it takes to now get through this opponent's field. Starting off with a disgusting Platinum Rare Reinforcement of the Army to go ahead and grab a Rhino Heart to go ahead and dump a copy of Havness. Havness effect to go ahead and Fusion Summon. He does have Field Spell access here, which is kind of clutch. He does need to get into, 100% needs to get into a Kaleido Heart. But his one Kaleido Heart is banished, so if he has another Kaleido Heart in the extra deck, I'd be kind of shocked, because I think it's pretty standard for most builds to play one. And this is a pretty grindy game one right now. It's very, very grindy game one between these two decks. Just back and forth. You Fusion Summon, I Fusion Summon, etc., etc. So we're going to see him going to Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos is going to go ahead and dump a Merly. And Merly is now going to go ahead and attempt a Fusion Summon. I mean, at this point, though, I mean, like, how do you try to get through this board right now? I mean, we're going to see him get to a Dragostapelia. Dragostapelia is going to help. And certainly also having Paralorhino is going to help as well. Because that 3k Kaleido Heart is something you have to get over in battle. You cannot remove it via card effect because it's just going to come back. And a Field Spell will destroy. So you have to get rid of Mirror Jade in a different way, or you have to get rid of Mirror Jade and be able to OTK. If you can't, like, bounce it back to the extra deck or shuffle it, whatever it may be. We're going to see that Clutch Foolish Burial here. And he's going to go ahead and Fusion Summon using the name that was sent for a second Kit Kalos. And I think we're going to see a pretty interesting Link play here now. We're just actually going to see him go Battle Phase, I believe. Or he's using the Field Spell. No, he's using Paralorhino to go ahead and clear Mirror Jade. And he might not have anything left to send with the Mirror Jade. Otherwise, I don't... Well, or no, he used the Mirror Jade last turn, so he couldn't Mirror Jade this turn. What am I? I'm like forgetting how branded cards work. My apologies. So we're going to see him pop the Mirror Jade with the Field Spell, go into Eerie the Water Charmer Gentle, take a Kaleido Heart, go into Unicorn, spin it back, his opponent's Kaleido Heart, and then go into Access Code, and that's going to be game. Wow, very grindy game 2 that was. Very, very grindy. Very, very, very grindy. And now we're into a game 3 situation. We're going to see Pure Tier on the right go first, starting with Paralorhino, going for Rhino Heart, dumping a name to go ahead and then Fusion Summon for Kit Kalos. Kit Kalos effect to go ahead and either add or send. The opponent here has opened up a hand full of monsters. Looks like Double Merly, Fallen of Albaz, and some other cards I can't really tell off the top of my head right now. It looks like the Kit Kalos is going to go ahead and add a copy of Sharon. And he does have Foolish Burial in hand. It's also interesting, too, that both these players have opted to go second when they've had choice, which is very interesting. And I do see a Lava Golem in hand for our Pure Tier player. So I guess has kind of dodged a bullet by opting to go second and not go first, because Lava Golem kind of goes in. But Kit Kalos is going to go ahead and mill 5. Then we're going to see him go ahead and Fusion for 5, or not for 5, but Fusion there with some of the 5 that are milled. And going for a Dragostapelia. And then we're going to see him overlay both of the Rhino Hearts into a copy of Time Thief Redoer. And ending on Dragostapelia, Redoer. Not a bad end board. We're going to see our branded tier player draw into a Sharon and a hand full of monsters. Like Alibur, Albaz, Double Merly, Sharon. A very, very monster-heavy hand. Going to be kind of difficult to try and go ahead and crack the board with a hand full of monsters. The Time Thief Redoer taking a monster happened to be a Havness and detaching his Rhino Heart as effect, part of the effect. So his Rhino Heart will trigger, summon itself back by discarding a tier, and I believe it'll trigger a Havness to go ahead and Fusion Summon for a Kit Kalos, and then Kit Kalos effect to go ahead and Fusion, or a Kit Kalos effect to send, triggering a Merly to go ahead and Fusion Summon for 3 materials there to go for the Kaleido Heart. And then Kaleido Heart is going to go ahead and, I imagine, shuffle the Alibur back into the deck. I find it kind of strange that he went to go for that route right now. I don't know why the Dragostapelia wasn't used on the Aliber to stop him from getting to Brand Infusion, because Brand Infusion is one hell of a card. We're going to see him activate it, get rid of the Albaz in hand. Is there any can anybody think of any sensible reason as to why you go for a Kaleido Heart right there on the normal summon of an Aliber? I just don't see why. That seems like ludicrous to me. I don't know. So we're gonna see him go for Lubellion, and we're gonna see him discard a Merlius Cost. We're gonna see a DD Crow on the Havness that he fusion summoned with, and he also Dragosopelias the Lubellion. So he has to use 2 interruptions there to basically stop what he could have stopped with 1 Dragosopelia on the Aliber. We're going to see a Sharon mill 3 after discarding a Havness. Mill's a beast to draw 1. Looks like he's drawn into an instant fusion, which is kind of insane. Instant fusion, insane in this deck. Literally, if instant fusion gets banned, I want to say it's because of tier. So we're going to see him activate Sheeran, fusing away with the Sheeran and the Merly engraved to go for a Kit Kalos, and then Kit Kalos effect to go and either add or send. Still has a lot to get through here to try and crack this board here. Mirror Jade access would have certainly helped. Like, he could have just used the Dragosopelia to, just stop the Aliber. I don't... Maybe he didn't want him to have a level 4 body infield to, make an Xyz play with. I don't know. I don't know. But either way, we're going to see him go for the Kit Kalos effect on itself to bring out a Merly. Actually getting to mill 8 here. And he hit a Merly, which I don't think he's used yet. I think he's only used Sharon and Havness this turn. I think all 3 Havness are out of the deck now. 1 banished, 2 engrave. Fusing with the Merly, the Rhino Heart, and the Sharon. We're going to see a Kaleido Heart play now. Probably my favorite Tearlament's fusion monster. And Kaleido Heart is going to shuffle back his opponent's Kaleido Heart because you don't want to get rid of it via card effect. Because that will go ahead and just summon itself back out. Now we're going to see him go Battle Phase, attack over the Kit Kalos with the Kaleido Heart. 2800 Kit Kalos. And then End Phase. Well, it looks like we're getting to End Phase. His opponent's going to set a Meta Noise. Redoer's going to come back. Standby Phase. Takes another monster. And in the mirror match, the Redoer is kind of scary. Could have been an Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller would have went in this mirror match. I don't know why it's not in the side or the extra deck here. That would have been insane. We're going to see his opponent, though, normal summoning Rhino Heart, dumping a copy of Merly effective fusion, and also putting that Kaleido Heart back in the extra deck is going to give his opponent here some extra gas to be able to crack the field, because as we saw in the earlier games, he is only on 1 Kaleido Heart, and we're going to see him go for that Kaleido Heart right now, but he does have the field spell, so we can go ahead and get rid of 2. Basically for the price of 1, bouncing back the Kaleido Heart and popping the Lubellion. I was say, if he could go for a Dweller right here would be insane. But we're going to see him go for Iria. And his opponent does have a King of the Swamp and Graveyard, which is a water monster, sure enough. And Iria coming in so insanely clutch in the mirror match. Going for Nightmare Unicorn. Nightmare Unicorn discarding Lava Golem. Go and attempt to shuffle back the set card, which is a Meta Noise. And we'll see him activate Meta Noise, targeting the Kaleido Heart. And we'll go ahead and get to Fusion Summon here. Or he's going to go ahead and target the Dragosopelia. Yep, we're going to get rid of the... Well, not get rid of, but book the Dragosopelia, dumping him early. And he'll get to Fusion Summon here. For a Kaleido Heart again. And, yeah, just put it back, and now he's back yet again. Kaleido Heart's going to go ahead and shuffle back the Unicorn. Summon this Kaleido Heart in defense. Battle Phase, attack over the Sheeran for a decent chunk of damage there. I believe 17. And I believe time is just about to be called. And we're going to see Pure Tier win it there. Very, very close game. Very, very close match. And last but not least, a huge shout out goes to our Divine Level channel members who are Tweeter0226, Pony Start, Cadillacs84, Justin Lamb, HD8 Cyber, and Mango. Thank you guys so much as always for your extremely kind and generous support of the channel.